Good afternoon. This is Pastor Karl with a weekly update for St. Peter's United Methodist Church for Friday, May the 29th. As you know, this year our season of Lent was interrupted in early March by the coronavirus, COVID-19. And since that time, we have been unable to gather in the sanctuary for Sunday morning worship or for Wednesday evening communion. We've been unable to gather in our classrooms for Sunday school, where so much wonderful teaching and learning has occurred. We've been unable to gather in our fellowship hall for group meetings or fellowship meals. And for us as a church family, it's been really difficult because we are a people who love to be together. But let's look at some facts. During that time, more than 100,000 Americans have lost their lives to COVID-19. A woman whom I previously served as a pastor for 9 years was among them. She lost her fight earlier this week. And I just learned this morning that the husband of a dear friend of mine has also been diagnosed with COVID. Our state has announced in the last day or so that we now have more patients hospitalized with the virus than at any previous time. We need to take this situation very seriously, and I do. As the pastor of this church, I am called to order the worship life of this church and to care for the sheep of this flock. In thinking about reopening our doors, I have to consider those among us who are vulnerable due to age or some other factor that might make them immune compromised. Their welfare, as well as that of everybody else, is why we have not yet resumed in-person worship here at St. Peter's. But we are working on it. I have met with the worship committee. I've met with the staff parish committee. We're putting together plans on how we can safely return to worship here at the church. And tentatively, we are looking at Sunday, July the 5th, as the day that we resume meeting in the sanctuary. Now, while that date may seem like a long time off, it's only 37 days from now. And for what it's worth, that's less than the 40 days of Lent. As we view Lent as a time of preparation, I challenge you now to consider the next few weeks as another Lenten season of preparing our hearts for what is to come. We can look at this period of waiting as the last leg of our journey to the promised land. That trip that we've been on as we're traveling to get back together as God's people. I ask you to spend some time each day in prayer. Spend time in Scripture. Ask God daily, what is it that you're planning for us when this journey is over, Lord? Folks, I believe that God has great things in store for us when we cross that river and come back together. Yes, it's going to be a great day. It's going to be a fantastic day. But more than just one day to look forward to, that day is going to be the start of a whole new season in the life of this church family. I can't wait to see what God has in store. And I hope that you understand that in 15 years of ministry, this decision not to reopen yet, this decision has been the most difficult decision I have ever had to make as a pastor. I know that there are other churches that are reopened. I know that the governor has said we could reopen, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we should. Furthermore, our bishop has suggested that we not resume in-house worship until after North Carolina enters their phase 3 of reopening the state. And as one who is personally vulnerable to infection due to my recent cancer treatments, I have to consider my own health as well. But understand, for me as your pastor, this decision is more about your well being than my own. So, again, folks, we're tentatively looking at July the 5th as the day we come back together. And based upon what happens with the virus between now and then, this could, of course, change, but that's what we are working towards. In the meantime, we're going to continue our online worship services. We have our Sunday morning worship services on YouTube. You can access those through our Facebook page. You can access those at our church website, stpetersumc.com. And we also send out a weekly email with links to those Sunday morning services. We also send out emails inviting you to join us for our Wednesday evening prayer service by way of Zoom. And I also hope to be doing some Facebook Live devotionals in the upcoming days and weeks. So if you're on Facebook, you will receive notices for those. Now, if you are aware of any families, whether they are part of our church or not, who are in need right now, please contact the church and we'll do what we can to help them. Or if your family is in need of some assistance right now, contact us. That's what we're here for. And if you have any questions at all about anything I've shared today about our reopening the building, please feel free to call me here at the church. And know that as always, I am praying for each and every one of you every